Residential site valuation and cost approach, page 52. The comment to standards rule 1 through 2 I through V states in part, the information used by an appraiser to identify the property characteristics must be from sources the appraiser reasonably believes are reliable. Identification of the real property interest appraised can be based on a review of copies or summaries of title descriptions or other documents that set forth any known encumbrances. An appraiser is not required to value the whole when the subject of the appraisal is a fractional interest, a physical segment, or a partial holding. Standards Rule 1 through 3A states in part, when necessary for credible assignment results in developing a market value opinion, an appraiser must identify and analyze the effect on use and value of existing land use regulations, identify reasonably probable modifications of such land use regulations, economic supply and demand, and physical adaptability of the real estate and market area trends, and develop an opinion of the highest and best use of the real estate. Standards Rule 1 through 4E states in part, when analyzing the assemblage of the various estates or component parts of a property, an appraiser must analyze the effect on value, if any, of the assemblage. An appraiser must refrain from valuing the whole solely by adding together the individual values of the various estates or component parts. A similar procedure must be followed when the value of the whole has been established and the appraiser seeks to value a part. The value of any such part must be tested by reference to appropriate data and supported by an appropriate analysis of such data. Although the value of the whole may be equal to the sum of the separate estates or parts, it also may be greater than or less than the sum of such estates or parts. Therefore, the value of the whole must be tested by reference to appropriate data and supported by an appropriate analysis of such data. Standards Rule 1 through 4F states, when analyzing anticipated public or private improvements located on or off the site, an appraiser must analyze the effect on value, if any, of such anticipated improvements to the extent they are reflected in market actions. Making land more valuable. While studying the motivation and methods for valuing a site separate from any structures on it, remember that the land itself has some inherent value. The theories discussed about the value of the land can be summarized as follows. 1. Scarcity. Land supply is limited and no more land can be created in a location. 2. Indestructibility. Land goes on forever. It always has potential to be utilized. 3. Immobility. Land cannot be moved and cannot be relocated from a bad location to a good location. Page 53. Other factors can come into play as well. Perhaps the most important is a corollary to immobility. Location. The location of land is the primary determinant of its value. The same amount of land is worth more in a downtown metropolitan city than it would be if it were located in the downtown of a small rural village. And the same amount of land is worth more as waterfront property than if it were not waterfront property. Ways to increase value of a site. There are various methods to increase the value of land other than with improvements. Improvements to raw land to make it into a site can add some value to the land, but the inherent value of the land is still the same. And if buildings are added, the value of the real estate is increased, but not the inherent value of the land. The way to increase the value of land is to have more of it. Assemblage and plottage. Assemblage is combining two or more parcels of land into one larger parcel. This is typically done to increase the usefulness of the land by allowing one larger building to be constructed on the larger parcel than could have been built on the smaller individual parcels. The value of the land has also increases. In fact, this one large parcel is likely worth more than the sum total of the smaller parcels. This is referred to as plottage. Plottage is an increase in value over the cost of acquiring the parcels by successful assemblage, usually due to a change in use. By creating a larger parcel with more utility and higher and better use in use. And better use than the individual sites. The owner has successfully achieved an increase in the inherent value of the land, and the individual landowners can benefit as well. Example: mega company wants to build a new shopping center. They have picked out an ideal location where 10 homes now sit. The homes are worth about $100,000 each. Mega knows that the value of all 10 parcels together is $2 million. Instead of trying to buy each home for only $100,000, Mega is likely to offer the owners $120,000 as an incentive for them to sell. If every home was purchased for $120,000, Mega's total cost would be $1.2 million, much less than the total value of the larger parcel. This will likely work at first, but get harder near the end as the last few owners learn what is going on. These last few homes will likely cost Mega more money, but the owners have to be careful too. If they are unrealistic about their worth to Mega's project or how high Mega is willing to go, they may get nothing. If these owners hold out too long for too much money, Mega may decide to design the project around them.